Alright, continuing from the last video, we have L1 set, which is going to be our x values, and that is our classes, or the midpoint of our classes, the way the book likes to do it. Remember, you can also use the start or you can use the finish. It really is up to you. And remember, in the professional world, both are valid as long as you are consistent within your report. Next up, I have L2, which is my frequency count. Now, I've entered in both of these. The next thing I need to do is make sure that I can graph them, or actually plot them is a better phrase, because that's what we're doing on the calculator. So before you do anything, press Y equals in the upper left-hand corner of your calculator, and make sure that there is nothing entered in Y1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, if those are blank, we're at a good place. Now, if they're not, just go on top of it and hit clear until you blank it out. Now go second Y equals to bring up the stat plot. Make sure all the other plots are off by highlighting them, going down the list, and then hitting enter, and that will go into them. And once you're in them, you can turn it on or off. Now all the other ones were off, so we're good. Now I'm going to make sure that plot 1 is on, go on top of it, hit enter, and now go to type. Now on the next video, I'll show you how to make a frequency polygon. That's the second one in your list type. But right now I want to make a histogram. Alright, so I'm going to go over to histogram, I'm going to hit enter, and now it's highlighted. I will make a histogram. You'll notice if you were on a different setting, it now added frequency to the bottom. So remember, what we're doing here is we have an L1 for our X list, and our frequency is going to be L2. If it's not automatically set to L2, go down there and hit second L2 and hit enter. If you're doing a histogram with raw data, your frequency needs to be set to 1 because every element in your X list happens exactly once. For ours, every element is happening from our X list as many times as L2 says it does. Alright, this is an ordered pair. After yours looks like mine, I want you to hit graph, and you'll notice it looks like garbage. And it is. We're going to have to adjust this window. Now, there is a built-in zoom function for statistics. Hit zoom, go down to number 9, and hit enter for zoom stat, and your graph will look like this, and your graph will be wrong. Now again, if you're doing raw data and you're doing your own stuff, you can use what the calculator or Excel spits out, but this is not matching the data we entered it. Okay? Now, I'm going to hit window to look at everything that's going on. Let's just give you a quick overview. X minimum is where we're starting. X max is where we're ending on our X axis. Next we have the scale, and the scale should really be our width. Now, with our data, our width, we went from 8 to 13 to 18 to 23. Our width was 5. So let's just fix that to 5. Now, the Y's are going to be our scale, so it's going to be the hash marks. 1 is fine, and then we have the Y max and the Y min. We'll just let it be what it is. Now I'm going to hit graph again, and remember, the only thing I changed was the X scale. It needs to be the width. Oh, look, that looks a little bit better. That matches what the book has, actually. I'm going to hit trace and go down the list and make sure it's what I think it's supposed to be. So plot 1 is pulling L1 and L2. That's what the upper left hand says. In the bottom, it says where our class starts, and you notice we have a little blinking cursor, and it says our minimum for that box is 8, which is fine. That's what we called the first of our classes. And you notice it goes up to 13, but it does not include 13. That is a less than sign. And how many were in that? That's what the N is on the bottom right. The frequency was 1. I'm going to use the arrow keys, and I can go anywhere I want in my histogram. So here I'm on the third class, which starts at 18 and ends right before 23, and there's 3 of them. Again, I'm matching the L1 and the L2. Alright, this is also a nice way to do a relative frequency for our charts without having to organize the data. We let the calculator do it for us. Alright, next video I'm going to take the same stuff, continuing from here, and make a frequency polygon.